Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hero's Journey. My name's Joel Sadler, and you're with Mike Harris. Mike Harris is an entrepreneur and behavioral strategist. He's worked with many people over the years, helping them achieve growth, breakthrough, and come up with powerful strategies for living their life. I'm an entrepreneur, work in the digital space, help businesses scale, provide insights that often business owners can't get from other consultants. You're with the Hero's Journey podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about listening to your body, listening to yourself, trusting yourself for insights, and knowingness. Our bodies often have a lot of information and knowledge within them, which we have kind of been, I would suggest, trained to ignore or not been taught as children to do it. And I think more and more people, including ourselves, are sort of realizing that actually we can tune in and we can listen, take some time and actually really get in touch and reconnected with what's going on in our body, which can have massive benefits from mental health to physical health, insights to the past, present, and future. All sorts of amazing things kind of open up. Mike, so I imagine, in your coaching practice, you see a lot of people who are who have been quite disempowered in terms of health, but also connecting to themselves, and very much up in their head, living in that space, disempowered, going to other people for help and professional stuff all the time, where um, a lot of people, in my experience, breakthrough comes with connecting back to self. Do you want to share a few insights that that kind of come to mind for you with some of the work you've done with people?
Sounds like you were talking about me there for a second about being disconnected. Because I was disconnected from myself, my feeling body. When I say
Yeah,
myself, my body and my
yeah,
feeling body for a long time.
yeah.
Um, so it's a really interesting topic and one that if you'd asked me maybe 3 years ago, what that means and can you talk about it, I didn't have the depth of understanding that I do now
Mm,
because that was a integral part of being an integral part of my healing journey and helping me to grow and evolve to the next level for myself.
mm,
Um, so let's go back. I like how you've kind of laid the foundation for this conversation and go back a step and chunk
mm,
it up a little bit and go, what are we being largely taught? And I'll speak to Western society because that's what we've grown up in. And
mm,
obviously the East is quite different. But what have we been taught in Western society? And that is we've been taught to trust the medical system, trust a doctor, trust an outside authority, trust someone else, go to someone else, versus learning to empower ourselves. That's kind of what I mean, you can tell me whether
mm,
you feel the same, but that's the underlying message that we kind of get and have got since children.
mm,
And how we're supposed to show up if something goes wrong, or if you want to get
mm.
to an answer, or
Yeah.
uncover something, we have to go to this doctor or go to this specialist
Mm.
to figure it out, right? That's
Oh, big time. It's so disempowering. Like for me, part of my personal journey, as you well know, is understanding what freedom means. And like for me, what I'm really learning is that freedom is taking control, like controlling my mind, controlling my body, putting disciplines in place and taking back my power brings a
yeah,
sense of freedom. And for
yeah,
me, that comes into medical decisions and understanding that um, often like my background was legal and or legal training anyway, and that's such a complicated space because it's specifically designed that way. Legalese is the word that often was used, which is legal speak.
yeah,
The average person doesn't understand what it means, but it's designed that way, so they have to then go and engage a lawyer and pay this
yeah.
industry, keep paying into this industry to fight their battles for them. I mean, what happened to the good old days where two people come together and work out their differences around the table, around dinner? You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like that's part of what you're talking about. These
yeah,
multiple
100%.
industries have kind of been, our power has been sort of hijacked and taken away from us, but we've allowed it to happen. Don't get me wrong, so I agree with
That's
you.
exactly where I
Yeah,
was going to go to. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
we've literally fed that narrative, and it's been
Mm.
generational, right? It hasn't just
Oh
happened in
yeah,
our generation; it's been
yeah.
previous generations. So when you then grow up inside something, inside a structure or a
Mm.
way of being, you don't know there is any other way of being because you're
Yeah.
inside that glass box, right? And
Yeah.
so that's just what it is, you know. And
Yeah.
so this is not the generation's fault, so to speak. It's the previous and the previous and the previous, where we've slowly allowed these authorities to come in, and we've disempowered ourselves to allow these authorities to overpower us. And not to
Mm,
say that it's always wrong to go seek advice or seek information elsewhere for someone
mm,
that knows more than you, but to not use discernment and to blindly trust a system or blindly trust one expert, that's where things become quite dangerous. And again, like, we've got a lot of evidence over that over the last 4 odd years. It's all kind of come to light
mm,
on what happens when we blindly trust, and do those people, experts, have our best interests at heart. And when here's a big fundamental piece with this, when we go and trust someone else, like say for example a doctor, and my family's like they brilliant at doing this. Apparently, doctor's pretty much God. Doctor knows all. Doctor knows everything. And when we look at this, it's like, well, hang on. This doctor, for example, if we use this as just an example, as a human being, as a person, a man or a woman,
mm,
they have got a set of information and values that they've been brought up on, and a system that they've been trained in. And then you go, okay, well, what is the system they've been trained in? What was the
mm,
mechanism for that system? What is the intention of that system? Is that system flawed? Is the information that they're getting just a very thin slice of what is available and what is possible? And often it is, right. Like there, to be a doctor, for example, you've got to be 4 years at medical school at least, and you're trained in a system that is funded by the pharmaceutical industry, in which they're creating these experts who want to then, or are
mm,
trained to, prescribe the
mm,
very things that the
mm,
pharmaceutical industry produces. And so you're like, well, hang on a second.
mm,
Is there a conflict of interest there? And does this always work? I mean, that's one example.
mm,
And what happened to your own discernment and own ability to check in with
mm,
self? Where have we been trained to listen to our intuition? Where have we been trained to look at our body? Because our body and
mm,
mind are
mm,
one system. You
mm,
can't
mm,
separate them, right? So you can be disconnected, but you can't separate the body and
mm,
mind.
mm.
You can kind of disassociate from your body and disconnect in that way, but it's one system. So it's like, well,
Yeah.
where have we been taught to listen to feedback mechanisms from our body? A really obvious one is pain. So if you twist an ankle or something happens, like the body goes, ouch, that hurts. You've got to get
Mm,
weight off that because it's damaged, it's in pain. So that's
mm,
a really basic form of feedback. But then there's lots of other forms of feedback too that we have not been trained to listen to, whether it be
mm, mm,
a dis-ease that's come up, a disease that's come up, which
mm,
in my
mm,
experience and belief is all created psychosomatically, largely from what's happening for us, or our perceptions of what's happening for us, and our body's giving us these feedback mechanisms that we don't listen to, and it gradually gets worse and worse until we find out we have cancer, or we find out we have heart disease, or we find out we have this, because we've ignored all those messages and signs that might have built up over that time.
mm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've kind of like jumped from one, well, traveled a bit of ground there, but that's kind of the essence of what's been
Mm.
happening in our society here now.
100%. And I think you seen a video through the other day, but it's really summed up very much my view and opinion on not only have we not been taught to be in tune and to explore and to listen to our bodies and just stop and breathe and reconnect, we've actually been distracted by
Yeah,
sports, Netflix, movies,
yeah,
work. Our society's designed around getting up, going to work, 9 to 5, paying your tax, all these stresses and pressures, and have a family and all that kind of thing that people. Well, I'm speaking from experience, being in that kind of rat race, I suppose, in the past is just lack of time and
yeah,
energy, and rather just blob on the couch and binge watch 3 episodes of something just to zone out, let alone listen to, oh, my body's in a bit of pain here now, what's going on? So I think not only have we been not necessarily exposed to the beauty of our bodies and taught to stop and listen and pay attention to what's going on, we've actually been taken to a whole different place, which is where we're so stressed out and so busy That's,
Yeah.
oh, hey, here you have this little dopamine hit, go and open that box of munchies and and smash that bar of
Everything will be
chocolate while you
okay.
watch,
Yeah,
while you have
everything will
a
be
and have
okay. Yeah.
and have a beer. Yeah, everything will be okay. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, oh,
Like
this
it's
feels
really
good. Just
interesting.
sit down and
Yeah.
just get lost in this little
Yeah.
bar of chocolate. Ah, that feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Right.
right.
But I think that times are changing. I think people are becoming really aware. All the people I rub shoulders with, even my family members are becoming more and more aware. I feel that, making some powerful decisions, like I won't say who it is, but one of my family, a couple of years ago just got rid of their TV. They're like, oh, I'm sick of watching the news now. And like I was just kind of blown away. Like they just made a decision that enough was enough.
Mm,
Um, yeah, yeah. So it's quite interesting. So I think what I have read a book on, it's by Dr. Sarah Farrant, actually, a chiro and a doctor. I'm pretty sure she talks about three medical type health systems. One is allopathic. I think that means medicine, isn't it? Allopathic
allopathic is
type
Western medicine. Yeah.
Western medicine.
Yeah.
Alternative, which is more of the alternative theories like herbal remedies and from the earth, I suppose, type of natural type of supplements and stuff, and eating types of eating. And then the third one was intuition and like connecting in and kind of asking your body what does it need. And I started asking my kids that when they're feeling a bit off, how are you feeling? What do you need? What does your
Hmm.
body need? And it's surprising what comes out of their mouth.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well,
Like they almost intuitively know
yeah.
the
Well, that's the
answer,
thing they
you know?
do. But we, again,
Yeah.
unless that muscle's built and unless it's encouraged,
Mm,
then they just get indoctrinated in what we're indoctrinated in. So it's quite beautiful that you're kind of
mm,
exposing them to even asking that question. I mean, how many of us got asked that question when we were little? What does your body need right now? I didn't, I
mm.
never got asked that. Not that I
No,
can ever recall.
no, it's
So
like
it's
sort of
quite,
here's some Pamol.
yeah, yeah.
You'll
So
be
it's
all
quite
right.
awesome that you're actually starting to ask that to your kids now and actually
Mm, mm,
building that level of consciousness and understanding. And here's a really good question: like,
mm,
who knows your body better than you? Like,
mm,
seriously, who knows your body and knows you better than you? And we've been
mm,
taught that other people do. We've been
mm,
taught that we don't, and we don't know. And so we have to go seek help and we have to go
mm,
seek some outside authority. And
mm,
as I said, obviously, like, if something's gotten seriously wrong and you don't know, it's not a bad thing to go seek advice and seek help.
mm,
But it's got to be done with discernment and it's got to be done with curiosity and it's got to be done with an open mind, not a black and white fundamental thinking,
mm,
thinking this one
mm.
person I've gone to knows it all,
Yeah,
is the be all and end all, and necessarily
yeah,
has the right information for me.
yeah.
And so that's why, and again, if I go back to what you
Mm,
just said too about allopathic medicine,
mm,
Western medicine, which, and I can't remember if it was the Rockefellers or Rothschilds. I think it was the Rockefellers with the petroleum-based um,
mm,
system they've set up, which is what the pharmaceutical system set up on, because they were very wealthy with oil. They found a way to kind of repackage and market that and use it. Um, they had an agenda. They wanted everyone, society, to be following their way because their way meant that they profit and then they controlled what happened with the masses. And
mm,
the word alternative was created by them as being something that was like rinky dink, not really serious. It's alternative. It's like, this whimsical kind of thing. And they went on this massive smear campaign to create that so that it seemed like if you looked at nutrition, you're a bit weird. Why are you looking at? I mean, my uncle, here's the thing, my uncle was a doctor. I love my uncle. He passed away at 49 from a massive heart attack. And he was underweight, but had no idea. Him and I'd have debates around nutrition all the time. And he had in his kitchen, he had MSG, he had lots of chips, and just he had no idea that that was having an impact on his health. And we would have debates about it. He thought nutrition was a waste of time, didn't make a difference. And that was a
mm,
trained doctor that was in my
mm,
family. Um, and I look at it and go, well, he had the best intention. He loved helping people. He was a beautiful man, loved it. And that's what I found with a lot of doctors I've come across over the years is that they do have the best intent. They come into that work wanting to assist and help people, but they don't
mm.
understand and realize that they've been indoctrinated inside a system that necessarily
Yeah,
doesn't have the right information for long-term chronic health.
yeah,
And I always say with Western medicine, if it's wonderful for acute situations, if I break an arm or a leg, or I have an accident or something, give me Western medicine. Give me that to go and sort me
Yeah,
out and help
yeah,
me out.
yeah,
If we
100%,
want
yeah.
to talk about long-term health and
Mm,
wellness,
mm, mm,
go show me a medication that expands and helps your health and well-being. Show
mm,
me a medication that expands it
mm,
and helps it stay in optimal. And so allopathic medicine is designed to treat symptoms, diagnose and treat symptoms, not get
mm,
to the underlying root cause of what's going on. And so
yeah.
I look at that and the information that they then share with us. If you've just, signed up for giving your doctor the authority over your own body, we've kind of
Mm,
you've taken yourself down a pathway that's not necessarily the best for your long-term health.
mm,
Um, and there was a piece I wanted to look back to, which was the alternative piece. So homeopathy, which was
mm,
massive, right? Which is again natural, which is what I use and
mm,
have used with my
mm,
son.
mm,
Naturopathy, Chinese medicine, acupuncture, all these things that have been around for thousands of years. And they were then classed as alternative because it didn't fit the narrative of the controllers who were controlling the system who wanted to profit from the system. But they're
mm,
not
mm,
alternative.
mm.
They're
No,
actually like
yeah,
really
yeah,
good
true.
modalities
Yeah,
for keeping long-term health.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think, you know, once you see the reality of what's gone on, it's hard to unsee it, and like
Totally.
it's not, people say, oh, it's conspiracy theory or whatever. It's actually like you just go and look it up and you see what's coming out in the media now in the States with, RFK Jr. calling out
Yeah.
some of the corruption that's in place in the US system around all of this, all of what you just said. Like it's literally, tens of millions of people are now becoming aware of these
Yes.
issues, and it's really interesting to watch. I hold hope for the world that, over the next 100 years, alternative won't be alternative, and then, asking yourself what's going on and connecting back, and that will become the norm. Imagine a world coming from that place, and yes, there will always, as you said, there will always be, need for doctors and specialists in different areas, and I get it. And I'm the same as you, like I respect those people. I think it's the framework that is the foundation that's changing,
Yeah.
instead of
Agreed.
that allopathic foundation. It's kind of like, well, actually, let's trust nature. Let's reconnect back to Mother Earth, or the Earth. I sound, I'm not a Mother Earth kind of person, but let's reconnect back to
Well, what
nature,
do you
to
mean
our
by not
souls
a
and
Mother Earth
spirits.
kind of person? This is a really cool.
Oh, well, I just realized I just put another label on something, but you know what I mean? Let's connect back to the earth and where we come from, and the ground, and nature, and
Yeah.
the healing properties of that, and spirit, as opposed to some chemical. I
Yeah,
think
totally.
that was my point. Just share something that's happened to me eh, on this journey is, obviously I've done quite a lot of coaching, so it might be out of the back of that. If people are listening to, you know, how do you reconnect with yourself? I've just sort of found, like, the last couple of months. So the first thing is I wanted to lose a bit of weight. So I started going back to the gym, and then I went on these shakes. I'm not going to name the brand, but just like a weight loss type of shake. And it works obviously because it's lower calories and high protein, all sort of stuff, but it's also packed with low GI sugar, obviously to make it sweet, or sugar alternatives or whatever. And sort of part way through, I just felt my body kind of rejecting these shakes and
Yeah.
wanting more meat and more salt. And so I'd always been a big believer in Himalayan rock salt and ate it every day. And so I went back and got back into that and instantly felt better, moved away from the shakes, got more into more meat, and eggs. So still higher protein diet to lose the weight, and more better fats as well. But moving away from the sort of artificial sort of shake type of thing into more food based,
Hmm.
healthy food based was a massive shift for me. And yeah, feeling a lot better. Yeah, and that's all just sort of come within, and I could have ignored it. Like even last night, I felt the urge for a snack and had some corn chips and stuff, and just felt um bad afterward. Not bad as in beating myself up, but just felt physically bad, which was interesting again, because in the past I would have loved smashing a couple of handfuls of corn chips, So there's something changing in me, and I'm listening to it and just sort of going with the flow. And it may be an interim thing, it may be something that lasts for the next few years of my life. I don't know, but it's definitely coming from within. And so I'm
Yeah.
just following it, So I encourage people that are kind of going, well, where do you start? It's just, that I think for me it's just been sort of just listening and feeling. I mean, how would you?
Yeah,
suggest
well, I think
people
what you just
start,
summed up is great. Like
Mm.
meditation for me has been a
Yeah,
key
right.
for getting in touch with myself, like you said, and building a deep sense of self-trust and understanding, yes, we have this physical body, but we have our higher selves as well. We have
Mm,
ourselves that are tethered to our higher self and our inner knowing and intuition. And I liken it to going to a gym. You know, you go to the gym the first time and it feels weird and you don't know how that muscle moves or works
mm,
properly and you feel unco because you don't have the neural connections, the neural pathways there. That muscle memory is just not there. But after you do it for a while, you understand how to do a squat and you just do it and the body just naturally falls into it, right? Because
mm,
you've done it so many times. It's the same as this. It's like building a new muscle. It's like building this new trust, these new pathways to actually quieten the mind, connect to your body and drop in and just see what your body's feeling. And I
mm,
also like what you said about just asking it, what does it need? You know,
mm,
what do I need right now? What is it that I'm requiring to feel better, or what do I need to expand or to get better? And just really being intentional and trusting yourself and building that trust. And I think it's like unlearning and relearning that whole concept
mm,
that's what we're actually capable of, and understanding the power of our mind and how the power of our mind impacts our body. I look at like what Dr. Joe Dispenza is doing, who's a neuroscientist, and he's running these 1,000 people week-long meditations, healing meditations, and he's healing people just through meditation, through
mm,
group meditation and intention. Now, I don't know the exact ins and outs. I haven't been on his week-long course, but I've listened to him talk about it, and some of the stories are just like mind-blowing of
mm,
stage 4 cancers where people have been written off that they're just going to die by the medical system, who are turning around and healing themselves without food, without supplements, without medication, just through intention, changing their vibration and frequency and their
wow,
minds. So
wow.
it's like wow, that's actually possible, but there's no major money in that, is there? So
Mm,
again, when we look at intent for these different industries, if you can't package that and put it in a pill, well, you're not going to profit the same, right? And so there's probably a lot of pushback from some of those industries that don't want us knowing that. They don't want us knowing our full power that and how we can actually take care of ourselves and look after ourselves. One of the stories, and he said when he was sharing it, was that if you'd said to him a few years ago, would it be possible to grow a thyroid back? He would have gone, heck no, and you're crazy to think so. Whereas in one of the people that were on his courses, he actually saw they grew a thyroid back over a period of time, which is like, I find
mm,
that's mind-boggling, right? Because
mm,
again, we just never been told that's feasible or possible. But just because we haven't been told that and we've never believed it doesn't mean it's not possible.
mm,
And this is kind of the level of deception that we've been sold. Um, I think
mm,
most of us have probably seen or heard of these different experiments when they've put fleas in a container and the fleas want to jump out, but if you put a lid over it, they'll keep hitting the lid. And over a period of time, you take that lid off, and they've kind of trained themselves just not to bother trying to jump any higher, even though they could get out of the container because they've
mm.
been conditioned for so long that if they jump to try and get out, they're going to get hit. And so this
Yeah.
at such a deep level of deception on our potential is what we've been
Mm,
stunted by. We've been stunted in
mm,
understanding the true power we have and our abilities to heal ourselves and
yeah.
intentionally create things.
Oh man, that's I just got goosebumps. I think for me that sums up the journey I'm on beautifully. Like
Yeah,
understanding what freedom is, and it's like jumping beyond that barrier that you know what I mean? Like learning to jump and trust yourself to jump higher and higher like those fleas and kind of go, oh, there's a whole nother world out here, and I can do this. Never
yeah,
thought I could do that,
yeah,
but then the realization that they've been self-imposed limitations based on environment or whatever,
yeah,
conditioning, birth, nature, nurture, how whatever you, or a mix of both,
yeah.
Yeah. Mm,
Yeah, so when you can then start to open your mind to the possibility, it's like a progression, isn't it? It's like peeling
mm,
layers off. It's like you open your mind to the possibility, have we been deceived? Well, let's just ask that question first. Quite possible. Like, if you can come to that level of awareness first and go, well, what is possible? Can I stay curious? Can I stay hungry and keep searching and use my own discernment? Am I willing to try and put some of these things in practice for myself so I can see for myself and give myself evidence versus just blindly listening to someone else,
mm,
like with
mm,
you listen to us. One of the things I teach my son is that because he'll ask me questions and I'll give my perspective. And I also say to him, I say, hey, look, Leo, this is my perspective. This is my experience. But always make sure that you check in with yourself and you do
mm,
your own due diligence with anything. And I think this is what one of the fundamental keys for empowering yourself and empowering your family is to make sure you trust and use your own discernment. Be open, be curious. The moment you shut yourself off to options or other ways, then you've limited yourself and you've created a level of ignorance. And so it's a matter of being curious and open and like curious like a child, getting that childlike curiosity back to explore and try and
mm,
understand and not just accept what we've been told. I think that's really, really
mm,
key in learning to
mm,
trust ourselves and listen to our bodies and to continue to grow and evolve.
mm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. On that note, we've got to wrap up this episode. Thanks for your wisdom as always.
Yeah, man. And
Um,
likewise.
mm,
Likewise.
brilliant.
Yeah.